Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
Hey, what's up, Facebook family? Welcome to another episode of Post Daily Dose with me, your trusted parenting advisor, faithful guide and servant on the healing journey. What's my name? Big Papa, Brian+Post. Looking a little frayed with the dreadlocks today. It's a little hot here in Chico, California. 105, freaking hot. I mean, it's contrast that to Crescent City, which is 65. I see why people vacation up there a lot. But anyway, I hope you guys are doing fantastic. This is one of those days where I literally feel like one of those Yuba City chickens. You know, the wild, if you didn't know, Yuba City, wild chickens run around everywhere. I feel like one of them Yuba City chickens just running around with no head. Woo! Plus it is hot. So anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys today about how to deal with your child when they don't like your decision. Very common, I'm sure, that many of you encounter. Your children don't like your decision. They throw tantrums. They get upset. They get scared. They get sad. Hello, Mimi. So lovely to see you. And they yell and scream and cuss and hit stuff and threaten to break stuff, and happens all the time, I'm sure, in your world. And so, you know, I just went through a little situation with a kiddo, kind of did not like at all his parents' decision, but at the end of the day, it's the parents' decision. So how do you deal with that? How do you help your child deal when they don't like your decision? And here's the thing. I always want to layer this because it's very, very important. It has to do with boundaries and limits. And so there's a big part of parental guilt and shame that plays out in our difficulties with boundaries and limits and enforcing them. That is really important. When you set a limit or when you say something's going to be a certain way and your child rebels against it, if you become stressed and you become guilty, you start feeling guilty, you are likely to give in. And if you give in, you set a precedent. You set a precedent that is unfair to you and it's unfair to your child. Now, if you become stressed and you start threatening your child, because this would probably be one of the most common approaches to dealing with our children when they don't like our decisions, is you threaten them more. Now, the problem is that it's like what Bruce Perry says: anytime we encounter a novel event, we perceive that event as a threat until deemed otherwise. I'm going to say that again because it's really, really important. Anytime you encounter a novel event, the brain perceives that event as a threat until deemed otherwise. That could not be more understated today, or overstated. What's the word? I'm not sure. Anyway, when you ask your child to do something and they don't like it and they rebel. Hello there, Johnny from Michigan. I bet it's much cooler in Michigan, but maybe it's hot there. What's the temperature in Michigan, Johnny? When you make a decision and your child doesn't like it, the reason they don't like it, now listen to this, is because initially their brain perceives it as a threat. And what happens when the brain perceives something as a threat? It immediately constricts into survival. So we go into a state of fear. And if the state of fear climbs too high, we tap into our brainstem and we drop into our trauma. So this is, oh, Johnny, it's smoking in Michigan also. Bless you. Hope you can get to the Great Lakes and cool off a little bit. Man, I sure did enjoy my time at, where was that at? I was in Michigan last year. Was it last year? I think it was last year. Last May. It was at one of the Lake Traverse City, Michigan. I need to go back there. That was so pretty. That water was so pretty. It was amazing. So when your child perceives that decision or that request as a threat, they become stressed and they drop into their amygdala, and their amygdala potentially opens up the brainstem, could open up trauma, could open up any manner of things. Here's the key. The key is that you can't allow yourself to get overwhelmed. This is where we go. This is where we get off track. This is where we go astray. When we as parents get overwhelmed, then all the guilt starts to stir up, and then our own stress possibly activates our brainstem. Erica Ramirez Lee, aloha from Hawaii. So good to see you. Our brainstem gets activated, guys. This is the biggest part of the problem. The problem is not your child rebelling. The problem is not your child yelling. It's not your child threatening. It's not your child, acting out whatever it is they're doing. The biggest part of the problem is when we get overwhelmed. When we get overwhelmed and we get stressed, that's what happens. We lose the ability to be present. We lose the ability to be connected. We lose the ability to be mindful and considerate and understanding and accepting and supportive and encouraging. When was the last time you said to your child who's upset, you deserve to be upset? I'd be upset if I was you too. I would be upset. You deserve to be mad. You deserve to yell it out. You deserve to be scared. You deserve to be sad. I can't imagine how you might feel. I really cannot imagine how you might be feeling. I don't know. And that's terrible. I wish I did, but I don't. All I can tell you is that you deserve to feel how you're feeling. Now, here's the other thing. See, this is where parents get really freaked out too. We start talking about property damage. When kids so here's what happens. You got a kid, he's hitting the wall, bam, 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 and he's mad, and he's yelling, and you're threatening him. You're telling him, stop hitting that wall. If you knock a hole in that wall, something's gonna, blah, blah, blah. But see, here's what you're doing. You're jacking up the stress. You're increasing the intensity. And as you're increasing the intensity, you're increasing the negative feedback loop. But if you were instead saying, I know you're mad. I know you're mad. I don't want you to hurt your hand. Please don't hurt your hand, but you deserve to be mad. Gosh, I know you need to hit the wall. Hit it harder, I guess. My goodness. You're so upset. And when your child hears that energy, instead of it threatening them, it's actually supportive to them. And when it's supportive and not threatening, guess what? I'm not making this stuff up. This stuff comes from the decade of the brain. When your child is not feeling more threatened, they have a much greater likelihood of their thinking coming back online. They have a much greater likelihood of their intensity dialing down, so they hit that wall a little less hard. Not that they stop hitting it, they hit it a little less hard, right? They don't stop, they hit it a little less hard. Because then what's happening when you're not increasing the threat, when you're not increasing the threat, you're giving them a greater opportunity to get up out of their brainstem into their amygdala, closer to their ability to think clearly, closer to their ability to remember, closer to their ability to feel. Some of your children, when they get stressed out, they're not feeling anything. So bam, they're hitting, bam, 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 and you're yelling, and they're more stressed, they're hitting more. They're not feeling, their adrenaline's totally jacked up. But when you can keep yourself from getting overwhelmed, and you can stay present, and you can look at that wall, and you can say, maybe he's gonna put a hole in it. I hope he doesn't break his hand. I can fix that hole, but I hope he doesn't break his hand. And you tell him, I hope you don't hurt your hand. Buddy, oh gosh. See, you pull down the anxiety. You pull the fuel away. And then all of a sudden, instead of being overridden by adrenaline and amygdala hijack, he's like, bam, he hits that. I just had this happen today. You guys think I make this stuff up? I don't make this stuff up. I'm working with kids and families all day long, every day. I don't make this stuff up. I watch the kid hit the window. Boom, boom, boom. Now, luckily, he was a little kid. I knew he wasn't going to break the window, but I watched him hit it. And guess what? The more I said, buddy, you are so mad. I get it. I understand. The more he started hitting that window and looking at his hand. He didn't stop. Bam, bam, bam. But he started looking at his hand. And guess what? As soon as he starts looking at his hand, it's all over. It is all over. Now, am I prepared for that window to get broke out? Yes, I am. I'm prepared. I'm not going to be happy about it. It's going to make me really sad. It's going to make me really scared for him. But I'm prepared. But then more than anything, because I am staying regulated, because my thinking is online, I can actually gauge the intensity that he's hitting it. If he's just tapping it hard, it ain't going to break. I don't have to get all stressed out. I remember the first time that happened was a kid in my group home. Hello, Betty Joe. Hello, Tammy. And hello, Jason. The first time that happened was with a kid in a group home in Virginia. He's a little amygdala, got switched. He was drinking some hot chocolate at the kitchen table, and he just went BAM! And he smashed that coffee cup up against the wall. Hot chocolate went everywhere. All the other kids were like, this is a new kid. All the other kids were like, oh my God, what happened? What happened? What happened? And I told him, you guys get out of here. Get out of the kitchen. Didn't say nothing to him. Get out of the kitchen. They turned around and they exited. That's what relationship does. Relationship allows you that kind of power. That's what relationship allows you. Power. Not power from the need to control, but power with the ability to influence. See, big difference. So once I shooed him away, I went and I just stood by the counter and I just stood there and I just kind of looked at him and I kind of looked away and kind of looked at him, didn't say anything, and he was just sitting there. And I think I might have said, dang, buddy. That's about it. And then he got this little shard of broken glass from the cup and he started kind of scraping his forearm. He ain't gonna slit his wrist. He's just scraping it. He's just scraping. Guess what? If I stress him out, he's probably really gonna puncture himself. But I didn't. I just sat there and I watched him. And I watched him and I watched him until he got just a little drop of blood. And then I walked over, put my hand on top of his. I said, buddy, we're not going to do that. And I just took the little shard. He just gave it right up. Took the little shard away from him, went and tossed it in the trash, and I went back over to my corner. And I said, what happened? And then, of course, he got mad. He got mad about the other kids. They were teasing him or something. And that incident, I think, lasted for about 5 minutes, and then he went and laid on the couch and passed out. That tells you how stressed out he was. I'm reading your comment, Erica. We ended up going to the beach and having a wonderful fan. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. When we don't get completely dysregulated, oh my God, it's so hard. I know this was happening. I've got a parent who this is happening with right now. When we don't get completely dysregulated, we stay in our frontal lobe, and when we stay in our frontal lobe, our heart has the ability to stay open, and we can be empathetic, and we can be connected. We can be understanding. Doesn't mean we don't get a little scared. I felt sad for the little boy today. I felt sad for him, and I told him, buddy, I don't even understand. I've never been in your situation, but I get it. I get why you're upset. You deserve to be upset, and I'll talk to him later about it too. But when we are stressed, we constrict into survival, and that's what your kids do. Your kids constrict into survival. When your kids constrict into survival, they're not feeling pain. They can't care about who they hurt or what they break. They don't care. They're in freaking survival. The challenge is for us to stay out of survival ourselves. When we can stay out of survival ourselves, we keep our heart open to love, and love is where your real power is at. Love is where your real understanding is at. Love is where real healing is at. That's where that repetition through love is so powerful. It creates change instantly. In any given situation, we always have two choices. You can continue to react from the same blueprints of stress, fear, and overwhelm. You can continue, you can continue, you can continue, you can continue. Or you can stop, you can slow down. You take 3 to 10 deep breaths or 100 breaths. Slow down and choose love. I hope you guys will choose love at every possible opportunity. And when fear gets too big and fear drives you, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Don't shame yourself. Don't blame yourself. Just learn from it and do better the next time. Relationship is the single most important thing. Focus on the relationship and you can get through anything. God bless each and every one of you. Big Papa loves you. Hope you have a fantastic evening. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Crazy times around here, but I'll probably see you tomorrow. All right, good night, everyone.